eye off the target, off the goal of electing Joe Biden. I will not spend my time with Trump supporters, trying to make them change sides. Instead, I'm seeking out undecideds or independents who may want to change. And time is of the essence. This was 5 months ago when I reached out. We're down to 43 days. 43 days to decide the future of this nation, the country our children and grandchildren will inherit. And it's been the most worthwhile 5 months investment that I've been involved with. If we fast forward now, I remember Mayor Kreisman on our last Seniors for Biden reminding us of the fact that we have to stop pointing out Trump's flaws. Most people know them. Most people don't believe what he says. It's time now to point to Joe Biden's strengths, to go to the website, joebiden.com, and look at the details upon details for the vision of the future of America. So let's build back better from this point on. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Great words. So next from Tampa is Carmen Ennis Schumacher. I hope I pronounced your last name right. Carmen?
Hi, my name is Carmen Ennis Schumacher, and like Mayor Carmen said, I'm from Tampa, and I am of Hispanic descent. I'm from Venezuela, which is the country that he dangles to the Venezuelan community, especially the senior Venezuelan community, which is the Latin community that he so much desires, especially in the South, South area of the state. And the reason I have come, I believe he was my candidate from the very beginning. I was always a Biden. I always wanted Biden to win, but I have always believed in him because of his honesty. But my life has changed. I am a person with pre-existing conditions because I have lupus, but my life has changed because of how inept the 45th president is, because I'm not able to see my grandkids. I am not able to see my friends, which I very much need at this time, because President Trump did not have he did not have any idea how to control this disease. He did not have a plan in place, and did not know how to tell each state to put a plan in place. And we happen to have a governor that went the same way as President Trump did, and we did not have a plan in place. And instead, we should be electing Biden, who has written a plan on how we should succeed, and we should look at Biden, who has, and look how he has said that the strong economy depends on strong middle class, and how we should always look towards improving. And like Joe Nixon said, that we should all look at building a better economy.
Thank you, Carmen. Appreciate you being on this call with us. And last but certainly not least, from my hometown here in St. Petersburg, and someone I had the pleasure of working with for a number of years, I want to introduce you to Mamie Slaughter. Mamie?
Hi, my name is Mamie Slaughter, and as the mayor just said, I did have the honor of being able to work post-retirement for a couple of years in the mayor's administration. And I would just like to say, first thing, I thank the mayor so much for his effort in reducing the numbers here in St. Petersburg. We have seen a drastic decrease based upon his modeling the behavior of wearing masks. That is very, very important to me and my community because we have gotten such mixed messaging as to should you wear a mask or is the mask doing any thing positive if you do wear it? So people are kind of, from a national perspective, they're on their own trying to figure it all out. I worked in public health, retired from the Pinellas County Health Department for 30 years, and I worked in infectious diseases, tuberculosis. We had to always go out and follow up on cases as they were reported from the hospitals. Going out without a mask would have been criminal, because even if we ourselves were able to be okay, we didn't know if we were going to go home, transmit something to the rest of our families that may have been immunocompromised or otherwise unable to be able to, to handle that kind of a disease. Well, in my opinion, this is the same thing with COVID. We have to not just think about ourselves, but think about the people that we are also confronting on a daily basis. I'm for Joe Biden because he has a plan to work with the entire population and to get them on board to see that this is a collective effort from all of us if we're going to defeat this. He has plans to put in place the what we used to call contact tracing, and that's a very important piece of it. He has plans to get masks to everyone. It was unbelievable to me that there was an opportunity to send masks through the Postal Service, 5, I think it was, per individual for each household, and it was nixed. And my question is, again, same as many of your questions have been, is this is this deliberate, or is it because our president just isn't following the science? Whatever the reason, people are dying. Joe Biden is going to put his plan in place to curb this and turn us around. And that's why I'm for Joe.
Thank you, Mamie, and thank you all of you for your comments and strong messages. Let's go to a few questions and answers. So I'm going to throw a couple questions out for all of you. The first one I want to ask you is, given that senior populations are high risk, what goes through your mind when the president ignores scientists and facts and claims that the situation is under control? Who would like to answer that one? Karen, I see your hand up.
Well, the first thing that goes through my mind is just absolute anger. It is unconscionable that anyone would even suggest that. It's so imperative that we listen to science, and even when they had all of the the press conferences, and Fauci would be there, They never even had a sign language interpreter. The White House had to be sued to have a sign language interpreter. His every word out of his mouth is basically a lie, and it's hard not to feel some sort of anger and contempt when he speaks.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to weigh in on that question? Carmen.
For a person with a disease like mine, how could you follow what the president is saying when you know that he's lying?
Very true.
Oh,
Mamie?
yes, I would like to refer back to just the information that we have just recently received. I think that hit me hardest than anything else that he's lied about. And that is that he was well aware from scientific information given to him that this disease, this virus is deadly. He knew that based on reporting as early as February, but certainly early March. And my understanding is that he simply ignored, pushed that aside, and then stepped up to the podium and said to us, don't worry about it. It's gonna go away. It's not that, what are there, 15 people, and most of them will be well in a couple of weeks. So go about your business, knowing all the time. He knew. So I'm sorry, but there is absolutely zero credibility, anything, integrity, nothing left for this person that he could say to, I can't imagine anybody would be swayed by anything he said, but certainly not myself.
Well, let me ask one more question. I'm going to call on you, Joe, first to respond to this. So Donald Trump wants to eliminate the payroll tax, which effectively results in defunding Social Security. How would that impact you or your neighbors and people that you know?
Well, as a retired federal employee with a pension, I'm less dependent on Social Security, but my wife's only retirement income is Social Security. And we both rely on Medicare for our primary insurance needs. And although Donald Trump has vowed to protect Social Security and Medicare, his actions are just the opposite. By cutting the payroll tax, you are defunding. And we could use that word many times in these conversations, but this is an actual attempt to defund Social Security and Medicare, programs that we earned over many years of working. And it's nothing but to harm the programs. And as a former postal employee, I also worry about my pension. Look at the attacks on the Postal Service. They just keep coming. So to state the obvious, I'm concerned that my earned benefits are now in jeopardy.
Understand. Anyone else would like to weigh in on that particular question? Karen, I see your hand up.
All I have is Social Security. $759 a month is what I have to live on. And you tell me how anybody can do that. You take that away, and I don't even have that. And that's what happens to so many caregivers, because our high earning years are taking care of someone else, which I would do it all over in a heartbeat. But and then to see that once we finally qualify, and for Medicaid and for Medicare and Social Security, and then he tries to pull the rug out from under seniors, is just, it just goes to show that the man has never earned an honest dime in his life. He doesn't know what it's like to have to worry about paying an electric bill, insurance for your vehicle, rent, food. None of these things have ever been a concern of his. And he's just trying to sell us all down the river. And I don't know what is going to be enough to wake people up, but I hope that this is enough.
Well, we are kind of pressed for time. Oh, Carmen, you wanted to weigh in?
Could I ask a question? And the only reason that I'm asking this question is because I don't know the answer, but is there a way that is it that people don't understand the relationship between the payroll tax and their social security?
Yeah, and that's I think that's part of what he's counting on. Because is that people exactly that.
Because when I first heard about it, it took Karen telling me, because Karen was the first person that told me, that's the debt of Medicaid, because she said about Medicaid. And then I came to my husband, who was the one that explained to me about payroll tax and the relationship to Social Security. But most people maybe don't know the relationship.
And I think it's going to be really important for all of us on this roundtable to take that information and make sure that we are telling people, because I think you're absolutely right. I think a lot of people don't realize the relationship between that payroll tax and Social Security. And so for them, when they hear that, they're not relating it. And it's up to all of us to make sure that there is that understanding, that people understand that the decisions that this president is making, these decisions are going to impact people's lives on a daily basis, and their ability to cover their and pay for food and basic necessities. And so it's really important for all of us to use our voices in these last 40 plus days to make sure that we are talking about issues exactly like this. So I wanted to open it up in case there were any questions from the media, and for any media that might be attending, if there's any questions. I know if there are, they will be sent to me.
If you have a question, please raise your hand and I will unmute you.
Jace, it doesn't look like we have any questions from the media. And so I guess I'll bring this roundtable to a close. First off, let me thank Joe, Karen, Mamie, and Carmen for your time and your advocacy and your personal stories of why this election is important, why you are supporting Joe, and why we all have to work really hard to make sure that our futures, that our children's futures and our grandchildren's futures are secure. You know, Joe will always have the backs of Florida senior citizens. He'll start by getting COVID-19 under control. He'll protect and expand Social Security, and he'll build our economy back better. Now, Florida seniors hold the keys to the White House, and they deserve better than the chaos and havoc that Donald Trump has wreaked on their golden years. And while I know historically the seniors have always preferred going to the polls on election day to vote, this year is different. And while we intend on ensuring that everyone who goes to the polls on election day can do so safely, it's important that everybody recognize there are other options available. So I want to encourage everyone to vote by mail. And with vote by mail ballots being sent out in counties across the state starting this week. And for many communities, you can even drop your vote by mail ballot off in drop boxes that are located throughout your county. In St. Petersburg, there's a number of locations, so you don't have to worry about sticking it in the mail and making sure it gets there on time to make sure it gets counted. But you can also early vote. and early voting will be starting soon. But the bottom line here is this: you must vote. This is the most important election in our lifetimes, and the outcome of which could impact our quality of life and our democracy forever. As Joe likes to say, it's about the soul of our nation. So I want to thank you all again for attending this virtual roundtable, and let all of us commit hard to working hard to make sure that Joe Biden is the next president of the United States. Thank you all so much for tuning in.